This week on Did Y'all See, we're talking about two shocking pregnancies, Neo and his fiancée Crystal, and Teyana Taylor and Iman Shumpert. We're also talking about Idris Elba and whether he's too street to play James Bond. Get all this tea on Did Y'all See. Did y'all see this week that the latest author for the James Bond novels spoke out to the Daily Mail about his choice for the next person to take over for the character? He was asked about Idris Elba playing the character because black women have been wanting this to happen for years. And Anthony is not here for it. He essentially told the Daily Mail that Idris is too street, too rough to play James Bond, and then said, is it a question of him being suave? Yes. And then everyone went in. But the bigger question that people have been asking is whether too street and too rough are basically code words for Idris is too black to play the character, and they're not interested in introducing a black character, even though he suggested Adrian Lester to play the role.
Adrian Lester is suave enough to play James Bond?
Right, I didn't want to say, he's kind of corny.
That's the guy who played Joan's boyfriend, right?
Mm-hmm. He's corny.
Anyway. White folks, they are very interested in the way they describe black people. The way they called Nicki's rant savage at the VMAs salon. It's always like a racial, I feel like it's always a racial undertone, but I don't know why we're riding so hard for like a black James Bond either. Because let's just create our own stuff. Like, why do we need to be included in that? I'm just,
I don't know, like I don't know what anyone expected from the James Bond author. He's extremely old and old school, and it just appears that he's like in 1940 something, you know. So like I didn't expect to hear that he would be about any black person playing James Bond. When you're thinking about Adrian Lester, he's a theater British guy. Like, of course you're gonna pick him because he's the safe black person, which, you know, white people love. They love safe black people. They love Uncle Toms. They love it.
not that this needs to turn into an attack on Adrian Lester. It's just somewhere like, damn.
But it was just like, there's got to be other options.
It's like, what's another black person I can think of? Adrian.
Right.
Like, out of everyone.
Right.
But, yeah. No, I just feel like, I don't know. I wasn't that offended by it at all because, for one, I don't want Idris Elba to play James Bond. I agree that I feel like he don't need that. And he don't even think didn't he say that he didn't even want to play it?
I have no interest in being a black Bond.
Okay, so once I say that, right, then
yeah.
Somebody saying that I'm too street to do it doesn't mean a damn thing. I'm like, boo, I didn't want to be your little.
Okay.
Okay, I don't want to do it. Okay, don't act like I can't do it. I don't want to do it. Get that clear. But at the same time, I also feel like, in a way, I could kind of see what the guy was trying to say. But when you like you said, when you not thinking and you just start talking, and you let that that low key like discriminatory side of you come out, where you're like, that nigga is just too street.
Right.
Like, when you let that out, then you put your foot in your mouth. But Sharang pointed out in her essay that we don't need a black James Bond because like the James Bond character is like basically fighting for like not white supremacy per se, but white supremacy per se, yeah.
Exactly.
So, we don't need that.
No.
She was like, it's not going to be more progressive just because you find a black person who's charming to do it. Like, we don't need that.
So did y'all see this week there was some surprising news at Camp Neo? The singer apparently is engaged to the girlfriend we've kind of seen him on red carpets with for a little bit now. But the kicker is that his fiance is pregnant. And as you know, Neo was with Manyetta Shaw for several years. They have 2 children together. And then she got her tubes tied. And we saw on the reality show she had, what was it, Wives of Atlanta or something? Atlanta Exes.
Y'all ain't heard.
Listen.
Same thing.
One of them VH1
The
shows,
Atlanta basketball
right?
wives on the hockey sticks.
Kids.
Out of Orange County.
Well, right. She was having a breakdown, because her tubes are tied, clearly not going to be with Neo. And so it's like, the next man I'm with, I won't even be able to have his babies. People went in. So when Neo put this news out, stuff blew up. People were like, you ain't shit. It's going to come back on you, blah, blah, blah. He went to Twitter to say, number one, apparently, you know, Mayeta's procedure is reversible. She can still have kids. And then saying, you know, if you have something to say, basically this was your lifeline to him. You could get on Twitter and ask him whatever, and he's happy, and this is from the horse's mouth, and it was a mutual decision, and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I feel for Mayeta. You know, I looked at her Instagram and she had up something about, you know, kind of having a bad day or whatever. I mean, it's understandable. It's like if you find out an ex, you know, got married or something like that, but then it's on top of he can have these babies with someone else. He didn't want to have more with you, which is weird, but you're okay to have it with someone else, whatever. But I don't know. It's crazy.
I think it's very sad. I definitely feel for Mayeta. Like, I feel like I was kind of riding for her from the beginning. But I think she'll be okay. And I think she'll... No.
Sympathy dried up real quick.
No. It's not that. It's just that, like... It's like when you... It's nothing that you can change about this situation. Mm-hmm. So it's like harping on it and feeling sorry for yourself is just going to prolong the process. You don't want to be bitter, you know, 5 years from now. So, I mean, just prayers up for her, and I mean, I hope that she can, you know, talk to somebody and just kind of get past it, because I know she's kind of looking at herself, well, what was wrong with me? Why are you doing this with her, but you wouldn't do this with me, you know, whatever. I feel bad that people are kind of going at Crystal, because I feel like Neo's messy as hell, but I feel bad that people are going at Crystal because I don't feel like she did anything wrong in this situation. She came in after the fact. It's not like she was, like, messing with him while he was still with Mayeta.
I think Neo is, I think he's controlling, and I think when you, like, look at documentaries or some of his interviews, he's really about, like, this celebrity ego and kind of, like, getting, like, anything that he wants whenever he wants it. So I think with Mayeta, I felt like he knew that she was deeply in love with him and she would do anything to keep their love going. So I don't really trust his character. I don't trust any of his movements. And I really just pray that everything works out, because when you move like that, it can't end well.
It's a sad situation, I agree with Jasmine, but at the same token, I feel like everybody's an adult. I wouldn't say that, you know, and that's the thing. If you don't want to have kids anymore, then don't have kids anymore and get your tubes tied. But I wouldn't make these decisions based on the fact when we're not even married yet. Yeah. And if you know in your heart you kind of like children and you don't know where life will take you, hey, okay, fine, you might want to not, you know, do that. And not that I want to be judging anybody for what they do, but that's the struggle of when you're so connected with people and you haven't made, like, when you have kids with someone, but you're still not married and you're still not, it's like you've given up so much of yourself and they haven't even given you a simple ring and then been like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, you haven't made a commitment to me first.
Right. And you make all these commitments for them.
Yeah.
So that's the end result of it, unfortunately, a lot of the time. Right. So I feel sad. But at the same token, like, I don't. Because in a way, like, we all go through heartbreak and it hurts. But I don't think if I was her, I would want people in the public being so like, oh, poor Mayeta, poor Victoria, poor Jasmine, poor Brent, poor. You know, yeah, it sucks. But I would want people to know, look. Yeah. Am I hurt? Yeah, a little bit. But I'm good. Y'all don't need to attack him. You don't need to attack her. Because I believe when you're silent, you're like okaying, like, people being like, well, fuck that girl, Crystal, and fuck Neo.
I honestly feel like Mayeta is not necessarily mourning the procedure. Because I don't really know if she was that pressed to have more kids. I feel like it's just hard to see somebody you love move on and be with somebody else.
Yeah. So in other baby news this week, Teyana Taylor is pregnant by her boyfriend, Iman Shumpert. There was like a rumor, you know, about her being pregnant, and it kind of got shut down, but then Iman took to the internet to post a picture of ultrasound of his daughter, who will be Iman Jr., and it's due in January, and he wrote all this stuff about, you know, this baby is daddy's little girl already, and blah, blah, blah. And Teyana's like, oh, this is all that matters, you know. I kind of wanted more. I thought she was at the point her career was just popping off and getting to a good space, and people were respecting her as an artist and seeing that she does have talent. She's not just, you know, good music tag along or whatever. And it's like, she hasn't been in this relationship that long, and kids come to the picture too soon, and your stuff's not even solidified as in any type of commitment outside of this is my man. I just feel like it can set you up for issues.
I don't know their situation. Like, they could be really solid, and we just don't know because we're not with them every day. So I mean, babies. I hate to be cliche. Babies are a blessing, and I don't know. They could get married. They could be getting married in the next few months. Like, we don't know. Obviously, there's an ideal way to do things, but I just think that life happens and things don't always work out.
I'm torn because, like Brandy said, she was in Elle magazine. She had a beautiful spread in Harlem. Her mixtape, her album, everything is popping off. I'm gonna be real. I don't want people to think that she's just some hood chick from Harlem and now she got pregnant by her man and now that this is it. Mm-hmm. You know, because there's so many 90s singers, as we know, who followed her footsteps and then they ended up on Unsung.
Like, that is what disappoints me. Not the fact that she got pregnant, you know, because this ain't 1970. But I mean, like, but the fact that you just kind of got out the gates. Yeah. And now it's like, hold on, back up, because you're only going to get to perform to a certain point. And then you have to go sit down, and then you have to raise this child, and you know, and that just makes me sad. And I also get sad when these things happen, and I feel like your relationship is one that is like new, and it's like that white hot like passion, like everything that they post about each other, and their pictures are so like provocative. So it makes you know that they're not one of those couples that have been together for some time, and they're like comfortable and not comfortable that's like that negative comfortable, but like that we're not right. We're settled, exactly. We're a settled couple. We're happy. We have a foundation, and therefore we don't need to do the most. They've been doing the most since we found out about them, and therefore that lets me know that you all are you're either really in love and it can happen, and you could be one of those couples that's like from the movies, or you're like white hot passion and you're making decisions based on that. And so a baby in the midst of that could be very, very crazy.
I just feel like Teyana has such a solid
We're assuming this
unit.
wasn't planned.
She does.
I feel like
But if it's planned, that's even worse. I'm sorry, y'all super freaking young, and you just started your career. He just got settled in on that team. Planned. Come on now. And that would be ironic considering that she came out here and when she first got hot talking about how she was a virgin. You know, publicly, I'm this, I'm that. That's why you got to keep that kind of stuff to yourself. Because now here you are.
I mean, when she lost it, she talked openly about it. Like, yeah, me and Brandon did it, and you know, that's what it was. That was my first.
And
I guess.
Look how Brandon did her.
She talked about it after the fact. I think it was after.
But
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
I don't know. I just try not to be too.
I mean, I don't want to rain on nobody's parade, but dang, like.
There's still hope.
I mean, yeah, it's not over, but I want her to be happy, for real. Yeah. If she's happy, Godspeed. I'm happy for y'all. But y'all are so young, and y'all are so white hot, like, we in love, that's my boo, that's my man crush every day. Yeah. It's like, makes you want to roll your eyes, like, okay,
girl,
boo.
You feel like my auntie. But I hear you. I hear you.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Did Y'all See? And please let us know what you think in the comment section. And for more videos like this, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/MadameNoire.